to our TST event with special guest speaker Scott Brown on May the 1st already. I'm always screwing up on
May Day.
May Day. Uh-oh. Oh, then Cinco de Mayo's coming, and Scott Brown will be lost in the sauce somewhere. Anyway, what we have for you tonight is Scott Brown going through all the new changes on i-atn. So we're going to let Scott take it away, and he'll be explaining. We'll stop him every once in a while and ask some questions. So feel free to ask your questions as well. All right, Scott, it's all yours, brother.
Okay.
So Scott is basically going to show you his desktop, and we're going to be able to take a tour through i-atn, the next generation search engine, providing technology works correctly. Excellent.
Okay. Well, welcome everybody. I'm very pleased that G and his team at TST have invited me to come in and host a webinar, kind of show some of the newer things on i-atn. I'm basically going to assume that most folks on the webinar are familiar with i-atn and have been around in the site. Just to give you a little brief history, we started this network in 1995, right back when the internet first became publicly accessible. And we came in right at the right time because there wasn't any means to share knowledge like this, outside of going to a local trade show or what have you. So, been quite an experience developing these things, because years ago it used to be a big challenge just to get a picture on your web page, and now with all the technology we've got a ton of options that have opened up plenty of opportunity for us. So within the members only area of i-atn, you've got a number of areas here that you can get immersed in information. We have a tech help system that typically is a place that you would go to when you've reached the end of your rope and you need to reach out and get some vehicle-specific help. We get about 800 or so of these tech helps through our system every month, and on average, each of those receives about almost 10 replies. So that's a pretty high number of volume if you think of the interactivity that's going on there. And then we also have interactive forums here on the right side that we have about 20 different forums that folks can participate in, both at a technical level and non-technical, items like industry issues, regular PC type issues, and so on. And then the technical end of things, they could be vehicle specific, they could be systems, tool and equipment issues, and in that environment you're able to actually upload your waveforms or data from your screen. We now support video uploads, which makes it really slick. And with all of the data that gets posted to our network, of course, we've been storing it in various databases, and this is where a lot of people go into search and research before they get involved with the repair process. Because in some cases, somebody may have been there, done that, and may be able to save you some time. So it's the same principle that you apply to, say, TSBs. You want to check and see if there's some type of an update or some other procedure you should follow before you just start diving in and performing your analysis. So what I wanted to show tonight is some of the advancements that we have made with our search systems. And today, if you look on this front page, we have this area called Knowledge Base, and it's a way for you to start a search of either the fixed database or the forums or the waveform library. Okay, and because you have to pick which area you go into, you're already filtering yourself down, and you may be missing some information that may have been posted somewhere else, and which means that you need to go back into the other area and duplicate your search and so on. This area of entry here will probably be disappearing sometime in the near future, and we're going to expose a new, simpler search, which I'm going to show you at the towards the second part of this presentation. But typically we recommend that you go to the knowledge base here. At the very top of the screen here, it says knowledge base. When you click on that tab, you still have these 3 entry points to go into. But this is where you would typically want to enter. And we're going to just go take a look at the fixed database in its form that it's in today. And when we load this page up, we have 2 ways to start searching. On the left-hand side here, you see the select make, and that's tied back to more of the legacy stuff that we developed years ago. And one of the newer areas we added about maybe a couple years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, is this new build vehicle feature. And when you use this entry point, we now have the ability for you to decode a VIN number, which makes it nice. You just paste in a VIN there, or you can drill down and build a vehicle, year, make, model, submodel. And this area, since you're building and defining a specific vehicle, it'll also keep track of the last 10 vehicles you selected in the past. So I'm just going to pick one here, and we're going to use that vehicle, okay? And the first thing to note is that we define the vehicle here, and we show you it's a 5.3 liter V8 VIN T. And by default, we are searching similar engine packages, any model. So that actual T engine, we basically expand the search out to all the vehicles that were fitted with that same engine, and report that list out here. So sometimes this list may be useful so you know what other vehicles may have this same system set up. The other things here, sometimes you don't have an actual specific problem that may be isolated to the 5.3. It may be shared among all the different engines. And in this case, the Chevrolet likely had multiple engines available. So we give you the option to choose similar vehicles in the engine. And when we do that, you'll see the list expand out. And we now have 34 vehicles that are included in our search. And that spans across the 5.3, a 6.0, a 4.3, and all the year ranges. So you guys get the point. There's a link here to expand this out to show all of the vehicles. Give you that report, and it's kind of interesting. You see the S10 4.3. They used that engine from 96 and 99. Was 4.3, and then they skipped a couple years, and then they went to 2003 and 2004. So that's some useful info. The other thing to note here is that if the engine was shared across another manufacturer or brand, we'll also include that engine, because that engine is part of a family. And you'll note here at the right lower it says Isuzu N 6.0 liter, because that same 6.0 is the one that's used in the Chevrolet. So when you begin your search this way, you now are required to pick a system, further narrowing the scope of your search. And in this case, we'll just pick drivability. And as soon as we pick drivability, you'll notice at the very top of the page, we're going to report out a count of matching records for this group with the number of replies. And of course, that's a ton of information there. So at this point, you would go ahead and you can enter in a DTC. I'm just going to pick a P1516. That seems to be something that I've seen before. And we're instantly boiling this search result set down to 7 records. And at this point, you could just click View Results here at the top of the page. And it's going to take us to a sorted result set. And it's sorted, the default sorting method is by rating. And you'll see these ratings here, where we encourage members to go ahead and rate messages. Even if they're not good, you can rate them negatively, so that the cream of the crop floats to the top. Because odds are good that other people, multiple members have found that this top record is very useful, and so they've rated it up. And you can quickly just go right into that record.
Hey Scott, question.
Yes, sir.
What happens if there's something up there that doesn't look right and no one rates it? Does it stay up there forever, or does someone from iATN review it?
Unfortunately, your audio is flipping in and out, and I'm not sure why that's happening. Can you repeat that question for me?
What happens if there's something up there that is not rated and it's of poor quality? Does someone from iATN monitor that?
So,
All right, just go on, Scott.
okay, I couldn't hear the question, but anyways, this is a operation of the highly rated method.
His volume.
This has its opening problem, all the vehicle data. We're highlighting the CPP along with there's another DCP that was included in the CPP Search. And then his actual fix was listed here in this blue area. The other thing to note here is that you always want to try to take a look at the replies that came into the tech help request. I mentioned earlier that each request receives on average 9 or so responses. So you see this one received 11. And if you click anywhere on that bar, they will expand out. And sometimes some guys will share some really good information, like this top one here. The guy is talking about Crimp, a loose crimp. There is a preliminary information document talking about grounds G103, 104. So there's some pretty good information, and you can tell that this guy has been down this road before. And again, these will be useful bits of information that you could use to address the problem that's presented. The other area I wanted to call your attention to was down at the very bottom of the replies on any closed out tech help request. You're going to see this related documents and media. And this is the first iteration of our exploring all the vehicle relationships and spanning across all of our other databases. If you open this up, our system's going to do a search based off of this particular record with this engine, that 4.8, and all of the vehicles that were fitted with that 4.8. And we quickly give you some subsets of search results. You know, in the drivability area, there's a total of 182 tech help requests. There's 101 files, and if I was to click on this, that would take me right to the file library, showing me all the objects attached to that 4.8 engine. And the same goes with the forums. But we're also giving you some subsets of DTCs. We're showing there's 4 tech helps with that 1516 alone. There's 5 tech helps with the 2135. And there's 3 that include both. So this one click through will take me to the 3 result set for that 4.8 with those 2 DTCs. So I hope you can see the power behind what's going on here with gathering and culling this data and information.
This is a huge improvement over the way it worked before. What happens if there is a post that is not rated, and maybe because it has the wrong information in it?
Okay, so now the next area I wanted to kind of draw some attention to are the forums, forum archives. Again, when you go to the knowledge base, you can go into the forum archives here. And you're here, you need to pick a forum to begin your searching. So in this case, for this, pick the technical discussion forum. And then we'll type in a term. You can type in maybe fuel trim. And you see that now we're over 1,000 records just for with the word fuel trim. And we have some advanced options you can select to further narrow down your so you can select, hey, I only want to see posts that have images in them. I only want to see the top level posts. I don't want to necessarily search on the replies. I can click that original, and now I'm down to 122, and maybe highly recommended posts. I can select that. Now I'm down to 15 records, and I can click view results. And now I have all the records from the technical discussion forum that have images and that were rated, and they're the top level messages. And then that will take me right into the forum. But you see, I wasn't really able to narrow down to a vehicle because that feature doesn't exist there. So those are some of the limitations. I go back to the search result and go back to the next one. If you want to look at some of these images, you can move your mouse over the top of the thumbnails and take a look at those. If you're ever inside of the forums, say that you're inside the forums here and you want to do a search of that particular forum you're in, we support a number of hotkeys, and the hotkey to search is the letter S. You hit the letter S and it will bring up if I have those set up. So I need to actually go back to options and make sure that my keyboard shortcuts are set, and yes they are, okay. And these are your keyboard shortcuts to navigate through the forums, and that letter S is your search. So as soon as you hit S, it's going to allow you to search this forum again. So these are just some things to note about that. We're going to go back to the knowledge base and now look at the waveform library. And here again, you've got to go through and select the type of file you want, or you want all of them. You need to pick a year range. You need to pick a make, and then maybe what you want ECM inputs, outputs. Now we're down to nothing. Maybe engine propulsion. We're going to go back a couple of years. Now we have one. And there's your waveform. Okay? So there are some limitations here, and you're going to see in a minute why we developed this new search engine to help folks find. So we've developed a new search engine, and it's currently in beta. And for those of you that are members, if you want to join this beta, you can go to the web address search.iatn.net. And you'll be presented with a screen. It'll say, if you want to join the beta, click here to join. And you'll also see that there's a video demo on that screen. So this is what the page looks like when you start. And it may look similar to, say, a Google search, and I'm sure that anybody that's used the computer and has been on the internet has used Google before. So what you can do here, we've got a couple of examples on things you can try. You can basically paste in a VIN number. So you see I have a 10-digit VIN, and that's all you need is 10 digits. And if I paste that in, it's going to define the vehicle pretty quickly. And did you see how quickly that happened?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
So that is pretty slick in itself. And we talked earlier about the different types of searches, and by default, we're showing the similar engine package. And if you click on that, you've got the same type of choices that we had in the other type system. So we can go similar vehicles, any engine. So it's possible that if this Sequoia had other engines available, they would be then included in this search. So I'm going to clear out this vehicle because I want to show you the power behind some of the other cool things. To develop a vehicle or define a vehicle to base your search off of, you can begin typing, say, the 2-digit model year, like in the example here, 01, and then you have a Ford F-150, and as soon as I start typing F1, we're going to start showing you a plausible list of available vehicles that are meeting this search criteria. If I add a 1.5, it's going to continue to narrow it down and right away I can see which vehicle I need, mainly focusing on the engine. So say it's the 5.4 liter M motor, I can pick that, and now I've quickly narrowed down my search to the 5.4 M engine. From here, we can choose some of these other filtering options, and we start to show you the top 10 items in each of these categories related to this vehicle I've defined. So you see the number of files that exist in the file library, and one single click on files is going to show me only files in the file library that pertain to that 5.4 VIN M. Another click on the file, and now I'm showing all of my data again. I'm showing what systems are most popular that this vehicle, or the 5.4, is posted in. Further down, we can see the top 10 DTCs related to this vehicle, and you see there's a couple of fuel trim DTCs, and then 1131, 1151. I'm not familiar with those, but maybe that's something I'm working on. And one click will narrow it down to that, and you can click right through and go right to that particular record with that DTC. So some pretty powerful stuff here. So let me just take it a little further. Say that I had a 99 Camaro with a 3.8 K motor that I needed a crankshaft sensor. So I type in 99, start typing Camaro, that pops up, and one click I define the vehicle. I type in the term CPP, hit enter. Now I've quickly searched, I've created a search, and now I'm seeing all the CPP items for that 3.8K. And you can see we picked the similar vehicles that have that engine, which also include a Pontiac Bonneville, Camaro, Grand Prix, another Camaro, because they all have that same system. So I think that those of you that are familiar with these powertrains here will see the appreciation behind the data culling that we've done to help bring some of that stuff to surface. And now that we've entered that 3.8 and CKP, you can see on the left-hand side again the related DTCs, or the top DTCs. Of course, a 336 is a crankshaft sensor. You've got a misfire sensor, misfire-related code, cam-related code, got some airflow code. So some pretty cool stuff.
Scott, the thumbnail on the left, you can blow that up to look at it better, right?
Yes, so you can mouse over that thumbnail and it will expand out on the page. So do you see how that works? If I go down further.
Oh, right. Very good.
And as you keep going down the screen, you can, oh, there's another one there. And if you want to go right to that record, you just click on it, and it will take you right in there, and hopefully you've got a related, something that you can reference against what you're measuring on the vehicle. This is what this is all about. I'm going to click through to this top record here to demonstrate one more thing. So you see that the member posted this, and he entered CPP signal with power supply from the ignition control module. But if one thing to keep in mind is that if this image has been used anywhere on the site, it will carry a reference over here in this area. So you always want to take a look here, because there might be some additional related information. So you can see that this was posted in a forum called the Snap-on forum on a 97 Bonneville, and a single click will take you right into that post. And you can see that this is talking about different CKP waveforms, and he has a number of examples that he's sharing with the group, reaching out for feedback.
Very nice.
So that's pretty cool. And anytime you find something really cool like this and you want to have quick access to later on, if you didn't know, every member has their own personal storage database on iATN. and it's called my i-atn. And if you see, it's up here on the very top right of the knowledge base entry. Anything you click save on, you're going to be asked to enter in at least one keyword, something that help you remember what it is. So at this point, I'm just going to type in CKP. Makes sense. Maybe P0336. And I can keep going, but for this demo, I'll just go ahead and click save. And as soon as I click save, that thing now is inserted in my database. You'll see that this save button now is green, telling me that I've already got it saved. And if I go to my i-atn database, we click through, and now I'm looking at my personal database that I've saved all this stuff in. And the last thing I saved is up here at the top. And you'll see the tags here, the different tags that will help you define, find your data later on. So say I came in here a month later and I wanted to find something. All I need to do is click on tags here. And when I click on tags, I'm in this, I've got it presented with a bunch of tags that I have saved, but I can just type typing in here, CKP. And as soon as I select that, I'm now showing all the items that I saved with the tag CKP. And you can see I have 29 items out of a total of 819 items that I have saved in my database tagged with CKP. And so that brings me right back to that. It helps me find or zero down to my data. Another cool feature is that I'm going to clear out this filtering mechanism. I'm going to go back to the tags. Anything you save that has a vehicle attached to it will automatically get tagged with the whole vehicle here, okay? And if I clicked on this vehicle icon, it's going to take me to everything I saved with the 82 Corvette, okay? But if I go back, if I clear that filter, go back, and say that I saved something for a Corvette, but I can't remember what Corvette it was, what year it was, I could just click on the word Corvette, and one click is going to narrow my search down to all of my items I saved with the Corvette. And so now I'm only looking at 8 items, and I should be able to scan through this and figure out, oh yeah, this is it. This is what I want to look at, and click through and get to the data that I'm looking for real quickly.
That's a real handy feature, something I should use as I've gotten more forgetful.
Yeah, you did a really nice job on that, Scott. Really good. You guys did a great job.
Yeah, the other cool thing is another example that I've shown to some folks is that say that you're the technician in the shop and the shop owner is telling you, hey, why don't you do some research on what kind of scan tools there are for Toyotas? Okay, and so say you're doing some searching, and this may take you, a couple weeks or what have you, and you're finding all kinds of interesting things. Or each time you save something, maybe you type something related to that scan tool. You type scan tool and maybe texturing. You're probably going to find something related to texturing. So as you save things, you can tag it with TextStream, or maybe you're looking for just a generic, J2534 device, and you tag everything with J2534, and then you want to sit down and show your boss all the things that you found. So you could come in here and type in, say, J2534, and now I'm looking at the items that I did research on and found talking about the J2534. And this now reminds me of something else I remember seeing. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Honda is now giving away the J2534 stuff. And when I saw that back in January, I said, you know what, that'll be useful sometimes. Somebody will ask me about that. And so now I have a single click right into that, and the guys left a link to the Honda website that will allow you to get the software and give you a list of the compatible J2534 devices that support.
Now, Scott, question on that. That's the software for reflashing only, correct?
Correct. Reflashing only.
Yeah, we just used one on a Honda hybrid. So thank you, Honda.
Did it work? It worked okay, huh?
Yeah, it worked.
Good. All right. So I hope that this has been useful. With what I've shared so far. I will encourage anybody that has an account with us to go in and do some testing on this new search engine. I think you're going to really find it works out well. It's really a nice, quick tool. So we're going to go back to that search real quick. Show you one more powerful thing on that, and I'm just hitting the back arrow. This will keep track, as you use your back button, it will just keep track of the different searches that you've done, but unfortunately it looks like I just dumped everything out. But anything, you want to find something that was written by, say, a particular person, you can type in the word by, okay, and now it knows that you're looking for somebody, and so we type in G. Is it Jerry? I think it might have to go with G. Well, we're going to pick somebody else here. We're just going to pick by Scott and Brown. And now it's going to show me everything that was written by Scott Brown on our site pretty quickly.
How far back, Scott?
Back to probably 1997 or so, I believe.
Wow.
When we started indexing all of our data. So that's pretty cool. And then again, you could say, oh, it was something in the forum, and it was an original post. So we want to hide the replies here. So under options, where it says hide replies, I can click that. And now I'm only seeing the top level posts, and that's pretty doggone.
So you can filter it by year, by all those other criteria.
You can also filter by year. If I define something by a particular car, you can just keep on going. So it's pretty cool. I've been probably working on testing this for about 8 months now, and just keep getting better and better. We're getting a lot of good positive feedback. Not many complaints. It just seems to really work pretty cool. You can also do some date searching. Say that you wanted to do something that was posted by a particular person. So I'm going to type in Danny Awama, who's a friend of mine. And I could say in 2012, and it's going to narrow the results down to everything that was posted in the year 2012. So that's pretty cool. If you knew that it was posted last year, you could do that.
And Scott, this is in every forum, everywhere on the site, or just select areas?
Everywhere on the site, in the tech help system, in the waveform file library, and in the forums.
Wow, that's so cool.
And so you no longer have to define which area you want to search, you just start searching. The reason we're able to do this now is because we have so much information. We have about 3.5 million records. And to index across all of that, it just takes a tremendous amount of computing power and database software. And we're using some fairly new technology here on our database software that is helping to mine through this stuff very, very quickly. It's searching very, very fast, and I think that once users start using it, they're going to find that it's a very, very quick tool. And there's nothing out there like this that has all the automotive tie-in to. Just to define a vehicle. So I type in a Silverado, and I've got 5 or 6 keystrokes there, and I can use my arrow key and select that vehicle. And now I've got that whole thing selected. Another cool thing is that it will start to look at some of the common automotive terms. So as I'm typing, it'll look out and it'll show me, oh, TAC module, and the user can click on TAC module, And that's going to pull up all the stuff related to that TAC module for that 5.3 liter key. Another cool item is that, in case nobody knew this, I'm sure a lot of people do, Identifix is our sister company, and they have a feature in their database called the Supercharged Search, and where they're taking an automotive similar terms dictionary, and when you search for something, it'll also expand that search out. So if I type in misfire and hit enter, it's going to do a search, and it's also going to include supercharged search in here. And you see the related terms here. It's searching misfire and a misspelled misfire, the word miss, engine misfire, misfires, skip, and some other terms we're not going to report out to you, but it'll give you all of those other things. You can imagine that in some cases, you may be working on something that's referenced as a generator, but you know it as an alternator. So you may type in alternator, but the system's going to know that, and it's going to also search those similar terms.
Wow. Now, Scott, you brought up Identifix, and before you showed us search results that had information tied to Identifix.
Yes.
What happened if you, and that's what I was trying to ask you a question, what happens if you clicked on that? If you have a subscription to Identifix, it allows you to get the information?
Yes. So you need to have a subscription to Identifix to make this work. But if you're an i-atn member and don't have an Identifix account, you can go to our site here, and I'll get to the linking part. But if you go to the resources area, and there is a link here, it says try Identifix for free for 2 weeks.
Wow.
So we're the only company that provides that method for you to take a test drive for 2 weeks. You only get that once a year, so if you've already tried that out, you're not going to get a second one in the same calendar year. But you can try that out.
Now let me ask you another question. So since I have an account, there's nothing I need to do when I'm searching. I will come up with that information from iATN and Identifix, correct?
Correct. So let me show you an example here. So we'll click through to a TechHelp record.
That's cool.
Okay. The TechHelp records are the only records that have a link back into the Identifix product. So if I click through to that, I have to go down here and look at the down to the very bottom. This guy had a ton of replies. Boy, there's 77 replies to this TechHelp record. But if I look at the related documents and media segment and expand that out, we're now doing a search back to Identifix, and it's looking for all the documents on their site. And it looks like it's taking just a little bit too long here.
Because they probably have hundreds. If this has 77.
Yeah, they've got thousands. They've got 13,800 documents on this.
Oh my God.
Vehicle. Okay.
Right.
So, and we're giving you a little report of those items that exist, to give you an idea. But if you have an account with them, we have a link right here. Can you guys see that link here? View Identifix direct hit results.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this is, for the first time that you use this is the screen you're going to see, all right? And this is a unique screen, and this is going to help tie you over to that product. So you use your normal credentials to get into this. And I'm going to click remember.
So that's how they know you have an account.
Yep.
And you only have to do that once, correct?
Yes, only do that once and click remember me, and then click go. It's going to do a test on my browser, and I know this browser is going to argue with me, but it will work just fine. I'm going to click right through. But because we came from that 2000 Silverado 5.3, you see what happened?
You went right into it.
We're already defined that vehicle, so I don't have to reselect the vehicle again. And then I can go right in and start doing some additional searching. So
Wow.
So that there is pretty cool.
Definitely cool. I don't recall you telling me that when I was out there in California, but I guess it's either something new you added or I wasn't listening.
Well, you probably weren't listening. Well, actually, when I came out, we didn't have this in place then. This is something that was rolled out, I think, about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago.
Ah, okay.
The other cool thing, so you asked about coming from iATN over to Identifix, okay? So I can tell you that in the very near future, you're going to be able to do a search on Identifix, and if you have what's called a Business Plus. This is a new account that we have. It's a multi-user, 5 different accounts attached to this business account. If you have that in place with iATN, you can link from Identifix over to the record on iATN. So we have this currently running within the CarQuest Direct Hit environment. And so I'm going to log out of this, and I should be able to demonstrate this for you here.
But that's going to be a feature that's only available to those, basically those business accounts, right?
Correct. And the business accounts actually get a discounted rate. They pay the same amount. They pay $30 a month. And you can add, you have your master account, and you can add 4 technicians to that master account, and they all have individualized access. They can search for their machine in the shop, their PC at home, and everything they save and search is all individualized to that one account. So they're not stacking all this stuff on the business owner's account.
And of course, that makes it a lot faster for the technician to look up his stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to log in. I'm supposed to remember me. And so now we're in this direct hit product here, and I'm just going to click through. See, it remembers my last vehicle, so I can click that. And I'm going to blow this up just a little bit so that it looks a little better. Okay. So what you'll see over here is that there's, in this quick fixes area, information available, it shows there's 351 fixes on iATN. And if we were to type in, he's got some codes here, so I just typed that PO300, very common code. You'll see the search results summary up here, and you'll see there's 31 fixes on iATN. But imagine if there was something on iATN that really didn't have, they didn't have a lot of information on Identifix, you would have this link. So you could click on this, and that'll drop you right down to the segment showing all the fixes on iATN, and a single click will drop you right into iATN on that particular record.
Scott, it prioritizes fixes. Does it, if you go down that list, does it also give you posts that, you know, may have been closed without a fix but might have something useful in it, or in the replies?
Yes. Right now the sorting on it is by rating, and if we look on the right hand side we can see that the top rated is at the top, and we're also showing the status closed with fix.
Right.
And the summaries will be down below. So you see close with summaries, and we're giving you a number of replies listed. So yeah, that is a good point, because even though it doesn't have a fix, you might get some information out of the replies that came through. So that is a good point. There isn't one single source of information out there that will, provide you with a solution every time. I've been in this industry for about 30 years. And I know I've been down this road. I've been in OE information where the data is incorrect. And I have to vet that by comparing it to other information resources to know whether or not I'm working on the right thing, the right connector, or what have you. So the more information you have access to, and the quicker you know how to get in and out and search it and understand what its limitations and features are, the better off you're going to be when you face these difficult to solve problems during your workday.
I see that every day.
Well, this seems like a very, very big time saver for every technician out there that uses iATN. Again, like you said,
Yeah.
you know, coming up with the information, time is money, and if you could look up information a lot quicker, obviously it helps you do your job a lot faster, making more money.
Yep, exactly. So one last thing I'll just point out is that on the home page, okay, when you're on the home tab, up in the sub-menu bar, we have a link to a number of little quick video tutorials on some of the features that I covered here tonight, and a lot that I didn't cover.
Oh.
And if you click on that link there, that's going to take you to our demo video help page. And so there's a ton of data here to show you how to navigate, how to get around the site, how to use a knowledge base, how to do some vehicle-specific stuff, how to upload files to your waveform library when you want to use those in a post somewhere or try to get some feedback. How to add your business sub-accounts now that we've got this new Business Plus account in place. So there's a lot of data, and we're going to keep pushing in new videos as we develop them to help you guys get around the site and get the most out of it. You know, I always tell people, our site there's a lot there to it, and it's just like getting, if you're getting newly introduced to iATN, it's just like getting newly introduced to your new scan tool. You're going to want to start plugging that scan tool into the car and working it and trying to figure out, how to get around, find out what its limitations are, and how to best make it work for you so that when it comes to game time, you're working as efficiently as possible. So
Yeah, that's true. Getting used to navigating through something, it's better to spend a little time before coming into a problem on a car and then trying to look it up when you're stressed out.
You're stressed out and then you're trying to learn the tool and what's going on with the car at the same time. Better to know the tool first.
And information is the main tool that you need nowadays. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Any other new things coming? Any iATN events, training things?
Nothing that I have. Nothing solid that I can talk about right now. This search here is probably one of our bigger feats. We've been working on this for over a year now, and there's some additional features we want to add to it, of course. But we've got several hundred people actually doing some testing and stuff on this system now, and it's not breaking. It's working. We just want to get some more bodies in front of it and make use of it, and give us some feedback. And I think that the more people that get on there, I think they're going to find that it's a very quick and useful tool. Especially the part about defining a vehicle with a couple of keystrokes. It just makes it so much easier because like I said, I've been using it for probably 8 months or so, and every time I need to go use a system, whether it's a parts system or what have you, if I have to define vehicle, I got to pick the year, then the make, the model, then the submodel, then the engine. You can see all those clicks. I'm wanting to gouge my eyes out because I should be able to just type in a couple of characters and start to define that vehicle down to a short, plausible list. So I'm really excited about getting this new search out.
So, Scott, can you give us that that link to the beta program again?
Yep. Yeah. So the address is search.iatn.net.
Search.
Type it in for us.
Yeah. Right. There you go.
And when you get to that page, so let me log out of iATN and reload this. When you first arrive on this screen, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to say iATN Search Beta. Thanks for your interest. If you want to participate, you have to click here to request access. You'll have to log into the site and submit a request. Those get handled manually, so you'll get an email as soon as you're at it. If you're already on there and you're seeing this, then you just need to log in to get access. There's a feedback mechanism, and then there is a video. We're zoomed way in on this, but this video is on YouTube, and it shows how the search works. And I won't play it because it probably won't play very good through this WebEx. But it's about a 1-minute video, and it's pretty cool. It's there's no voice over. It just kind of shows you all of the features on how to how you can get around, how you can define the vehicle, paste them in, and some of the things that I showed in this demo tonight.
So that looks really good, Scott. You know, the other question I have, just so people will know, again, if anyone wants to participate here, go to this iATN beta site. But I guess a lot of techs would want to know, could they get this on an iPad or an Android tablet or on any smartphone?
Yes. Okay, so this will work fine. I mean, I've used it. In fact, I was at a dinner meeting a few weeks ago with some folks from the industry, and they had a question about something, and I actually used this new search on my iPhone, and it worked flawlessly. I was able to define that. We've been testing it with the Android, and of course, like the iPad or the other tablet for the Android development. They all support standard web browser stuff, so it works just fine. Which that also brings up another thing. You asked me what else is coming, and I completely forgot about this. We've been developing a mobile i-atn mobile app for both the Android environment and for the iOS environment, which would include, of course, the iPhone and the iPad and the iPod. And we're still a little ways away from having a production release, but I've been using it, and I'm very pleased with it. It has this new search engine actually covers a lot of it. The vehicle building entry points, all of that works. The VIN decoding works. We're also working on incorporating a barcode scanner in this device. So say you're at the vehicle and you have a vehicle that has a VIN. The VIN number also has a barcode. You'll be able to scan that barcode. It'll define the vehicle and actually produce a set of search results in a matter of a few seconds. And we've already got a little beta environment going on with that on our devices, and I've tested it on multiple vehicles, through the windshield, the door pillar, door jamb, and I'm just amazed on how quickly that works. So that's something coming up in the future. Should be towards the end of this year that we'll have the mobile app out. And the technician today, everybody has a phone in their pocket, and I think as time goes on, we're going to see that becoming a regular tool, and it'll allow the technician to maybe do some preliminary check. And since you're logged into your account with your phone, anything you start searching with, the search history will, of course, attach to your account. When you come back into the system, say at your desktop or your laptop, you'll be able to reference those previous searches to continue on with your analysis of your problem. So
that is
we're all about developing good, smart tools for technicians, and we're happy to do that and bring them to you.
So somebody could look it up on their phone, and then if they decide they need a printed copy to, to follow something procedure that somebody wrote down, they could go back to their desktop or whatever and print it.
Exactly. They could
save time.
They could do that. They could do the
quite helpful
feature like I showed earlier. You on your phone, you just save it to your iATN, and of course that's stored in your account in the cloud, so to speak. And you go to your desktop, click on iATN, click print, and go.
It's neat. So that's a good.
Well, it's very helpful as well if you're a tech working on a car, the other computers are being used, or maybe no access to a computer. at least you can get information right now.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Just saves, even just saving footsteps having to walk across the shop.
Yeah, or maybe you're in the car working outside, maybe.
Right.
Yeah, don't want to come in.
And while you did mention printing, I'm going to just open up this record here, and when you do click print, there's a print view on a Tech Help record, and you can click print view, and it's going to open this up in a stylized sheet just for your printer, so it's going to fit it all on one page. We're also going to look at your browser you're using and the type of printers that you have set up on your machine and give you some additional assistance and tell you how to scale some things, but it will do everything in its power to print it on one page, because I'm sure that you've all experienced
yes.
print a web page out and you end up with 18 pages of corners and half a page and so on. So this is another cool feature that we had some input from some of our members and said, hey, it'd be cool to make a nice print view, and so our developers put it together, and it works cool.
That is really cool, man. Very good. You guys are doing an excellent job.
This particular record we're on here, this is interesting. We did some searching the other day, and I thought our system was broken, because I did a search for an actual Saab Arrow 2.8. I think it was a 2.8, but if I look at the related documents and media, I believe I go to 11 pixels here. Well, it may not be the Saab Arrow, but I don't know if I'm not familiar with the Arrow, but if I go to say the knowledge base, fixed database, just to show you some of the power behind the related stuff. Oh, there we go. 2006 Saab 9.2 Arrow, 2.5 liter. That vehicle is an actual rebadged Subaru, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, we call them Sabarus.
Sabarus. So you see the power here. We're not narrowing down just that Saab. We're giving the vehicles that are actually related to that. So this is a pretty powerful feature, and something I've not really seen an expansion like this, other than in a Hollander catalog or something. But some very, very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's really good, because you might not realize that it was the same thing.
Hey, we have a question here. How about the ability to search for the test procedures and wiring diagrams from Andy?
Okay, all of the data on iATN is user-generated content. Okay, and so we don't host any. We haven't licensed any. Regular service information data. So stuff that you would find in Mitchell or AllData or even Identifix does not exist on our site. So we don't have any indexes to wiring diagrams. When members upload stuff to the site, they are only allowed to upload things that they own the copyright on. So we would love to accept all kinds of wiring diagrams, but that's not legal to do that. So to get access to wiring diagrams, you need to have access to an information resource, whether it's Identifix or one of the other software services out there.
Or the OEs.
Or the OE, correct. And we were in the the direct hit, and that they now have OEM information. This PL300, you got the diagnostics and everything right from the manufacturer. That's also displayed just like you would see it on the GM website for service information. So that's another very powerful tool that they've included within their data assets. They spend millions of dollars licensing all of this data from the OEs. And they're continuing to add more and more.
Yeah, and they've done a very, very nice job. Super nice job. Now, we had a comment from John, very well laid out. and the video tutorial ideas are great, and he wants to thank you for coming on and doing this. I think this is going to be quite helpful to technicians that'll view this on our YouTube channel. And you know, once again, I learned something sitting here.
I learned something too. And you know something, Scott? I've been an iATN member when I had my own shop as a corporate sponsor and as an individual after I closed my shop for a lot of years. And I'm impressed with all this. I think this is going to increase my actual usage of iATN.
Well, great. I'm glad to hear that. And thank you, John, for the compliments. We really appreciate that. If any of you have a question about anything, we have a support staff that's monitoring the site pretty much all time. So you just send us an email to support@iatn.net, and we'll get you a resolution to what you're looking for.
Well, Scott, we'd like to thank you from TST for once again giving us some good information, and hopefully we'll get you out here in the future.
I would love to do that, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Yep, good night.
All right.